Hey, I'm Stephen Glosser.
And I'm Megan Pikert.
Welcome to the Going Somewhere podcast.
A podcast for anyone who finds themselves in the ambiguous adventure of young adulthood.
A season that's marked by uncertainty, change, love, heartbreak, and a whole lot of big decisions.
Join us for some real conversations as we dig into what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus in this beautiful yet complicated season of life.
We're so glad you're here, and we'd love to have you join our little Going Somewhere podcast community. Follow us on Instagram at goingsomewhere.podcast and join the conversation.
We're all going somewhere. We might as well go there together.
Thanks for listening. Let's jump into today's episode. That's my bad. Yeah, you're mid. You're mid-30s. But hey, what we're going to do tonight is we just want to have a conversation, and we want to create a space for you to ask some questions. It's not always that in these settings that we get to turn the mic over to you. So we really want this episode to be something that you guys get to be a part of. And so if you haven't heard of the Going Somewhere podcast, it is a young adult podcast that we started, or I started. You were like a baby still. I started it 3 years ago, and Pastor Dave and I, is Pastor Dave here? Okay, well, guest number one was Dave Leadall, and we started this thing together, and so it's been really fun to build over time, but we are at like the 3-year anniversary of this thing kicking off.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations. It's a long
Congratulations
time.
to you and everybody else, too.
Yeah.
So it still exists, and people still listen, so.
What's been your favorite part over the 3 years, kind of as you mark the anniversary? What do you love about the podcast?
I think there's a lot of things that I love about the podcast. I have loved the friendships that have came out of it, because it started with like the subtitle at the beginning was Going Somewhere Podcast with Stephen Glosser and Friends, because I didn't know who to interview or what to do. So we just started to have friends sit down, and it's created a lot of fun moments with that. I don't think you need a podcast to hang out and sit down with friends, but it's been a great excuse to hang out and sit down with friends.
You might need a podcast to sit down with your friends.
Yeah, that's throwing me under the bus here. But one of my favorite moments was an early episode with the legend Pastor Brad Lewis. Yes, many people know him. And it was middle of recording an episode, and we did video every episode back then. And just in the middle of it, he has this rule. You have to know this about Pastor Brad, that if his wife calls, he will answer. It's a good rule, right, Kirk? It's a good rule. That if his wife called, he would answer the phone. And so in the middle of this podcast episode, he answers the phone, and wasn't there, so he called back and he left a voicemail. And it's my favorite moment of the podcast is just recording Brad leave this voicemail. Kate, I'm on a podcast. Call me back. Yeah. So, but there's been a lot of fun moments, and just the people that have come along the way and all those things. It's been awesome.
Yeah. It's super exciting. It's fun to be here and to be live on a podcast for you guys at Rhythm Conference. Super exciting.
What's been your favorite part? You've come on in the last few months. Like, how has it been for you co-hosting a podcast?
Yeah, it's been really fun. We've only interviewed 2 people, I think, so far, so most of it has just been conversations, which are usually conversations we're already having, and then we're like, we should have recorded that. And so then it becomes a future episode on the podcast. And so it's just been fun, I think, to have a voice in the conversation. I was a listener before, and so I'm taking most of it away just as if I was before. And so it's just been good to be able to speak into people that are walking through the exact same things that I am and getting to walk alongside that with them. It's been really fun.
That's awesome. And I know for you here tonight and those listening, there's a lot of ups and downs in young adulthood. Being in my lower to mid-30s, I've just realized that there's been some things that I've done really well that I'm so grateful that I did, and I want to pass those things on, but there's also things that I messed up royally. And I think to be in this chair, to be able to share some of those things as well is part of the joy for this, because I don't want you to walk through the same things that I've walked through, because God's grace can come at the end of that story, but it can also come in the beginning of the story. You can learn from consequence and pain, and you can learn from grace, that you can learn from somebody else's mistake and apply it. So that's kind of the heart. When we started this a few years ago, we had just kind of ended a season of young adult ministry that had served for many years at this church, and we kind of said, what does God have next for this age group of these 18 to 30-year-olds, and what does God have for us next? And one of the things we really believed in was that we wanted our young adults to not be like an extension of the church on the side, but your generation is the church today. It's not a waiting game and like, hey, in some years they're going to take over. It's like, no, let's empower them today. And so part of that was like, we want to end other young adult spaces for a season where they're hanging out on a Thursday night or a different night, and we want to create a culture where young adults engage in the church on the front lines. And so this podcast was a way of, hey, let's continue to share things in their season to help them through whatever they're going through. So that's a little bit of the backstory on this. But we are going to jump in. We know that it's past, who's usually in bed by now? Nice. Well, not tonight. You're hanging out with me. But no, what we want to do is we don't want to waste your time. We appreciate that you are staying up late with us. It's kind of the conference vibes, in my opinion. But we have some friends tonight that we have invited to be a part of this episode. And so we've got a couple different things coming. We've got some friends that are in your season. They're young adults. They're in your chair. They're here as participants in this conference. And then we have a couple people that are seasoned. I'll say that. That seems like a nice thing, right? That have been journeying, and we'll meet them in a little bit. But that's our time to just ask some questions and to lean into that as well. So without further ado, would you welcome three of our guests to the podcast, Liv Abraham, Abby Schoeneck, and Lucas Schuley. Come on up. Let's go. Welcome, guys. Usually when we start an episode, they're already sitting down, and so I didn't know if I should stand and say hi, but hi. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having us. Yeah. Said at the same time.
Megan, why are these wonderful humans here tonight?
Well, for starters, we were kind of throwing around the idea of having a young adult panel and getting to hear from your peers, because nobody can relate to you guys better than people that are walking in your season. And so we just picked some young adults that we feel have really had an incredible influence in their workplace, in what they're doing, that they are just living out the Lord's calling, sold out for Him. And so, we just thought that they can encourage you in what you're walking through, but also just get to hear your story and how you're living out your faith in your day-to-day.
Absolutely, and I've gotten to know you in different ways or through different ways in people, but I just really look up to all three of you. And the Bible says, don't look, 1 Timothy, don't let them look down on you because you're young, but set an example in faith and love and purity. There's two more.
Conduct,
nice. Life, yeah, that's a good one. But to set an example, and I see that you guys do this in your everyday lives. So before we jump into that, can you guys just introduce yourselves? Who are you, and what makes you you, and what do you do for a living? And you don't have to go that deep, but just like, what are you doing now in life?
Yeah, I can start. So my name is Abby, and I am 26 years old, I'll say that. And right now I'm a nurse, and I've had one job transition. So I started out working in the hospital for roughly a little over 3 years, and then I've transitioned to like an outpatient nursing job doing like infusions in a hematology infusion center at Sanford.
That's amazing. And also, just so you guys know, this is not Abby's first rodeo on the Going Somewhere podcast. She is a returning guest, so way to go, Abby.
Woo, so kind.
Awesome. How would you live?
Hi guys, I'm Liv. I'm 22, almost 23 years old. I am a full-time wedding photographer. I also do like seniors, burns, and families, because once you're in photography, you probably do it all. So that is my main job. And then I also lead a group called The Invitation, which is a once-a-month gathering for young adult Christian women. Young adult, ages 18 to 30 is our focus area. And it's just once-a-month gatherings for girls to get to know each other and make friendships with other girls that are like-minded, because that can be hard in this age.
Awesome.
I'm Lucas, and I won't say my age.
Say it. I don't know it, actually, so
I'm 28.
Nice.
Easy. All right. I get to do two things. So really, I believe that to fight evil, one of the ways you can fight evil is to create something. And I get to be a part of creating businesses with friends and get to help people pursue real friendships. So, yeah.
Love it. And you host a podcast.
I do.
Called Hey Friend. It's
Hey
awesome.
Friend podcast, yes.
It's amazing. Well, you guys are people that really make it different. Like, that's what I identified in all of you, and what Megan and I were like dreaming of. Who should we have do this with us? And but I know that's not always the case. Like, would a couple of you just share how you got to that point where you're like, I'm a young adult and I can use this season to lead, to serve, to help people see Jesus?
I can start by just saying, basically the heart behind how we started the invitation was I was living in Arizona, and one of my best friends and roommates at the time, we were just talking in the kitchen about how we feel so blessed by the friendships that we had found. We had a really good group of 5 girls in a house that all loved the Lord, and we prayed over each other, and it was the most genuine friendships that I've ever had in my life. But it took so many years to be able to find that. And I went to GCU, which looks up, but it's a Christian university, and you'd think, oh, it's easy to find Christian friends at a Christian university, but that wasn't really the case for me, and it took until maybe my last year of college where I finally found those genuine friendships. And Kendall and I were talking just about how we wanted to make that easier for other girls, and we had a house that we felt blessed with, like, let's use that, and just start hosting once a month gatherings and invite anyone. So at our first event, we just started inviting girls on campus. We handed out actual physical invite cards at like Trader Joe's and everything, because we just wanted other girls to be able to connect in an easy way. And it didn't have to be like, sometimes even going to church, you don't feel as comfortable going out of your way and introducing yourself in the lobby to somebody, whereas at these events, it's like we're hanging out at someone's house, or we're having a picnic in the park, or just doing something, and you can just be intentional in making friends. And then we encourage girls outside of that to get one-on-one coffee dates or start a Bible study. So just using that as their foundation.
That's awesome. So hearing that is really cool, because I feel like it came out of a need for you. Like, you recognized a need in your life, and you're like, I'm going to meet my need.
Yeah.
And bring a lot of people with me.
Yeah, it totally
did. What was
did.
the need? Like, take us there of what you felt in that season that led you to not only just like, I'm gonna have a couple friends over, but you also said you had roommates and you would pray over each other and pray together. Mm-hmm. Like, what led to that for your household?
Honestly, there was so much, even just the way that the Lord brought us all together. Like, Kendall, we hadn't even met her until the day she moved into our house. She signed our lease, paid the deposit without seeing the house or meeting any of us. So that was a big leap of faith. And then now the invitation grew out of our friendship. And I think just how the Lord brought us all to be in that house, and just all being roommates, you can see it was all part of his plan. But I guess I was just in a season of really depending on the Lord, and really focusing on my female friendships and growing those. And I guess we all were dreaming of that. And Kendall and I actually attended a young adult conference in Scottsdale similar to this. And the dream for the invitation kind of started within that week after attending that, and seeing just all these young adults on fire for the Lord, and revival is happening in our generation. And we just wanted to do something small, having no idea that it would grow to what it was. I mean, we started it in Arizona, and now we have it in 24 cities, and it just is growing, which is so great. But we were just saying yes to God, and when you say yes to what he's stewarding, he's going to multiply it more than we could ever imagine.
That was good. Good word. Yeah, so I would love to hear, I mean, anyone can share too, but just your story, if you could give like a 4-minute elevator pitch of how you came to know the Lord, what got you to here today where you are like sold out and on fire for him. If you could just share a little bit.
All right. For me, I'm adopted, and season of my life, I would say it's like, oh, I don't feel like I was wanted and stuff like that. So I kind of really wrestled with that. And, when the Lord finds you, he never leaves you where he found you. And I've learned that. But I got to a point in my life that I realized I was not living for the Lord at all. And then you just mourn, And the next day, I just started picking up my Bible and started just reading it, but started studying it and started practicing it in my life. when I aligned my thoughts and my action to glorify him, the Bible kind of became more real for me, you know. And I think the second thing is, for me, it's like, if we're all honest, like, we're all struggling with something. We're all going through something, right? And I've learned a real friend is when you can share that struggle and the response is not judgment, it's grace and it's truth. And first breathing in grace, and then the second thing, truth, is saying, all right, let's go to Jesus with this, right? So like, I learned to not do it alone anymore. And even when I get to create stuff, and even when I get to help people pursue real friendships, it's loving him and loving each other. We were created for relationships, and we're never created to do this life alone, to hurt alone, to celebrate alone. And I think to have someone spur you on towards Jesus, it's a beautiful thing. And I've grown deeper and matured in my faith by having people around me. So, yeah.
That's awesome. How about you, Abby?
Yeah, I know I can share. So I grew up in a Christian family, which is such a blessing. And I remember like accepting Jesus, like praying the prayer when I was like 3 at the kitchen table. And just growing up, I remember like we'd go to Walmart, we'd, go get groceries, and the Lord would like break my heart as a child. Like I would sit there on the bench and watch people check out, and I'd like cry. I'd be like, why am I crying? Watching my mom check out, getting her groceries. And like when I look back now and where I see where God has brought me to today of being a nurse and like having this desire to live on mission for Jesus, I can see what he was like birthing in me then. Even as a small child, and then you go through like life and a lot of things happen, a lot of heaviness, a lot of struggles, so I've had like a fair share of all of that too. But I just feel like when you were talking, I was like, oh yeah, like I can look back and remember kind of that broken heart for the lost or for people in my community. And I don't know, it just, even with what we talked about tonight, like the dreams and the things God puts in your heart, like he will grow that. And so I can really look back. And then when I was thinking about where I would go after I graduated high school, I visited Fargo to see my brother for a weekend. He was going to college here, and he was a part of an awesome Christian community. And what drew me here was the people in Chi Alpha and the ministry I was a part of. And I saw it for one weekend, and I was like, yep, I think I want to go there because these people want to be here. They don't have to be here. They want to be here. And I was just kind of like lacking those kind of friendships in my life at the time. And you're really influenced by who you spend your time around. And so I was influenced by who I was spending my time around back in high school too. So now, I came to college, came to Fargo, went to NDSU, went to Chi Alpha, totally was set on fire for Jesus. And yeah, then I graduated college. That was such a sweet season. And it was like, oh man, I feel like I'm starting over in so many ways. And all these new challenges just felt like they're like tacked on me layer after layer. And what God has just done in these last like 4.5 years in my life is so profound. Like he has removed so much heaviness, so much struggle from my life. And I remember like after I graduated, I was just like so sad, like so down, probably just really depressed, and like working in a pretty heavy environment. And I just like know how much the Lord has delivered me of that heaviness and like the burden over just that I felt on my life at that time in that season, and has just like allowed me to walk in his marvelous light and with so much joy. And he's brought me to just such a sweet, sweet place of like walking in his freedom and just joy everlasting. So he is so good. And the more you spend time with him and grow that intimacy with him, I mean, that is the source. Like he is the source of your life. He says like he is the vine and we are the branches. And just the time that you invest with the Lord will transform your life. And I've seen that for my own life. And yeah, he is so good and he's so faithful to continue to work on you. And he's still working on me. So yeah, all glory to him.
That's amazing. But one of the things that I wanted to ask too is like, what does it look like in your everyday life? Because there's sometimes, I think even like Kirk talked about tonight, that there's the bonfire seasons or days, and then there's the twig days. So like, what's the twig day for the three of you?
I've been in twig days last week. When he was saying that, I was like, yeah, I'm in the twig days. It is, you see on social media all the great things, like just even speaking on the invitation again, like you see it's growing, you see it's great. We're getting opportunities to like be part of Giving Hearts Day and everything, which is such a blessing. But you don't see kind of like the back end of what kind of goes into that, and reminding ourselves of like the heart of it, rather than like it's not just a job and it's like, I don't know, just like the work that goes into it, and reminding ourselves that it's greater than us, and the Twig Days that are gonna pour into that bonfire. And it's not even, I felt like even just tonight I kept being reminded of, it's not just about me. Like, we're doing this for other people too, and those Twig Days might not be to create a bonfire in my own life, but maybe it's for somebody else, and maybe I'm pouring into this so that somebody else can be blessed by it. And then as a result of that, then I'm gonna be filled up as well, if that makes sense.
For sure, that's awesome.
I can talk about my kind of Twig Day. I would say, I go to work and I do my job. I have amazing coworkers, and I usually go to the gym or play pickleball or some type of little activity.
I heard you're a big pickleballer.
Yes, yeah, just like keep it on the down low. No, no, I do. So just like some form of activity, connecting with friends. I mean, I love that. It's like not every moment is this huge thing. Like, there's so much joy in just the everyday moments. I even think of like moments in the car, like turning on some music, talking to the Lord. Like, I don't know, it's just such a rich life when we walk with Jesus. It's so colorful. Like, he just brings all this color to our life. And when you ask him, like, Lord, I want to like know how you see me, or like just let me feel seen by you, he will show you. Like, even this past week, this is just one example of a little moment that just still felt so special, like such an everyday thing. I have a friend who's like a talented painter, and she painted me these paintings and gave them to me. And I just felt so seen by God, because what she painted was something I just loved, and he cares about all those things. He cares about all these details of our lives. And even like the most boring, mundane moments, like getting ready for the day, he can encounter you in that. And I don't know, yeah, it's like the mundane because it becomes adventurous with the Lord, which is a message you're always, sharing with us too, which is awesome. But some of my Twig moments, just, yeah. We all got to cook, we all got to do laundry, so.
I think it's like 80+% of our life is spent doing mundane things, As a parent, it's changing diapers, it's doing laundry, folding laundry, doing laundry again, folding it again. There's a lot of laundry when you become parents, but also for you, it's driving to and from work. It's doing those things day in and day out. But I really do believe that like you can maximize those mundane moments. Those aren't any less holy than the other days. Like, those mundane, those ordinary places are a really beautiful way to live. Like, what is that for you, Lucas?
I think there's two parts for me, really. It's like on the business side of things, on creating things. It's, the phone calls, the emails, I used to do that by myself, and I got to a point in my life that I couldn't carry that anymore. Even those little things can be really heavy. And I got to a point in my life saying, all right, Lord, I just want to do it with you, right? Left, where do you want me to go? Lord, what do you want me to give here? Lord, show me the next step. Is this a good approach? Should we partner with this person? And I think for Hey Friends is pressing record and reminding each other and reminding ourselves, saying, hey, it's not about you. It's not about you. And because I know that there's someone that's alone, someone that's hurting alone, and I know that. So it's like, all right, Lord, just help me, help them. Share this hope. You can change their life. You can transform. You can forgive and also transform. Your past is not your story. Your sin doesn't define you. Your feelings don't define you. Your thoughts don't define you. He does. So, like, Lord, help me share that. But he does so much, and he moves in people's hearts. And the response that we get, it's just beautiful. And I get to do it with amazing people that just have this fire for the Lord, and we're just doing it together. And I'm going to be the first one to say sometimes I don't do it well. Even like last week, we were pushing on launching this one product, and I was really kind of pushing the team. And one of our teammates sends me an email, and he's just like, this is too much stress. This is too much. And I was like, to make you feel like that, first of all, it's like, this is a safe place. You can tell me anything. And I was like, forgive me. That was not my intentions. I'm not attacking your character at all. We'd say we're going to do something, let's do it. And teach, how do I talk to you? Like, tell me, and just turned from that in repentance. Like, Lord, I failed you there. I just come back to him and just do that with him. So that's what I'm learning.
That's so good. So good. So one question that we ask every guest on our podcast, which you guys are in the season, so we'll change it a little bit, but what advice would you give your 18 to 20-year-old self if you could go back? Liv, I know you're only 22. So, what advice would you give?
6-year-old self. Yeah, that 18 to 20, that you're into college or wherever that season is for you guys.
For me, something that was a big learning curve that really broke a big transformational curve in my life was finally releasing that control. I'm definitely a bit of a type A control freak, and that led to me wanting to make all the decisions for my life. I determine who's in my life and who's not. I determine my schedule, whatever it was, and that just adds a lot of stress onto myself. And it's like, God doesn't want that. He doesn't want it to all be in our hands. It's a gift that he is in control, and he wants us to just release that control finally. And there was one time, speaking specifically in my life, there was a relationship I had to give up, and finally when I gave that up, it was like, oh, I finally feel like that was my stronghold that I needed to finally give up and give God that control. And ever since then, I've never felt so much more at peace, and just I know God is guiding me, and that leads to confidence in every area of my life. So I would say to my few years ago, I guess, self, just to fully surrender to God, and don't worry about feeling left out. That was another big thing, is you're worried that you have to go out and party because that's what everyone's doing. You don't want to have FOMO by not going to this or being friends with all these people, but that's only going to lead you down to a path where it's going to be dark and those people aren't genuine, and that you're not going to find genuine friends in that area. So releasing control and surrounding yourself with people that are going to uplift you and pray over you and have those Christian friendships around you.
So good. I would say, looking back, I would tell myself to place my hope securely in the Lord and not on my expectations for my life. I think I had this plan all, set up in my head of this is what it's going to look like, and it's not how it has looked like, but it's been richer, and it's been God's way, and it's been better, But I think I would just tell myself, keep putting your hope only in the Lord, because when you go to the Lord, he will always give you more of himself, and he will let his face shine upon you. So I just think not spending my time putting hope in the place it didn't belong.
That's cool. Well, I think that's great advice no matter what, but I think that idea of it didn't go as planned, I think that's kind of at the heart of what the podcast set out to do, was the idea of going somewhere. It's kind of a weird name, but that's the ambiguity of the season, is that there is many times there's twists and turns, and it's I don't know where this is leading right now, but what I've come to realize is putting that trust in Jesus is the only way, but it's not always easy either. It's not always easy to see other friends get things you want or take the next step that you think you want, and just to do that with grace, which is a big deal. So it's awesome.
I think for me, it's just keep on going. Just keep on, and just to do it with him. That's it. And I'm not doing it by myself. So whether it fails or not, I just want to honor you, Lord. So just show me to take that next step. So just learn to do it with him, because I didn't have that for most of my life. So keep on going.
I love it. I feel like if Dory was here, she would say, just keep swimming. You guys would be hitting it off if she was in a bowl as a guest on the other side of you. But thanks you guys so much for doing this. I know we could have a conversation for hours, and we'll get you back again, your third timer, and have you guys on again. But we do have something for you. You can pass one of these down, but we also have a Going Somewhere mug just for all of you. So you guys get to walk out of here with our first ever Going Somewhere swag. And so proudly drink from your coffee mugs moving
Will
forward.
do.
But thanks for joining us, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Yeah, thank
Awesome.
you.
Give it
was
up
great.
for our three friends tonight.